Hello, hello, hello. Woo! This is Rynette Upson-Bush. I am the CEO and founder of Next Level Chicks, where my mantra is to push you on purpose for the purpose of walking in your purpose and your destiny. And tonight we are back here for day 2 of a time of greatness. Woo! And I'm so very, very excited tonight. Last night, the conversation was juicy, and tonight it's only going to get better. I have my super friends, more super friends. I'm so blessed because I have super friends, and they have agreed to come on and have this conversation. So, without further ado, we are going to get started because we're going to need our time because this thing is about to be juicy. So, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. I'm going to start from the bottom and go up to the top, and we'll start with Mrs. A.R. Smith, and let's hear from you, girl. Can't hear you. I'm not sure what's going on, but let's go to Latoya.
All right. Hi, everyone. I am so happy to be here. My name is Latoya Frazier, and I am a project manager and digital marketing consultant. And I help small business owners and entrepreneurs launch their programs online.
Okay. Welcome, and thank you.
You're welcome.
We are next going to go to Miss Carol, also known as Carol Davis. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Carol Davis, or in school they call me Carol Davis or Jackson Davis. But anyway, I am, a woman of many things. I'm the founder of Emerging Diamonds Widows Empowerment. I am the founder of Graphically Styled Graphic Design. I'm also a singer, actress, and a mom to an amazing son. And I love, and my main thing that I'm passionate about everything, but because as a widow, I do have a heart for widows as well. So, we'll be able to get into that later, but I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Rynette. Yay.
Okay. And next we have Ms. August Crenshaw. Go ahead and introduce yourself, lady.
Hey, everybody. I am August Crenshaw. The little technical thing they call me is a business and sales coach. But what I call myself is the epitome of authenticity and Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I love doing what I do as a business coach because beyond helping people understand how to package and price and profit, for the products that they've created, I teach women how to truly show up as the number one unique identifying factor in life and in their business, and I am ready to cut up with these ladies.
And y'all know when we get together, that's what we do. So first of all, let's see if we can hear April. April, can you try again?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, yay!
man, just some little technical difficulties, but it's okay. Yes, my name is A.R. Smith. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. I am the founder and owner of Power, which stands for the Purpose of Women Evolving Relentlessly. I am also the founder of the No Name Game, and that's KNOW, not NO. And what we do is basically we help women from all walks of life. We are a multifaceted company that provides programs just to empower women on all walks of life. Started to work with solopreneurs and small business owners in regards to their branding and marketing. So that's what we do.
All right. Thank you. And before we get started, I want to say thank you to our listeners. Thank you all for joining. I'm having a hard time seeing some of the names, but I see Gwen here. I see Tiffany. I see Curtis. I see Melanice. Thank y'all for joining. There's some other people, but those are only names I can see right now. But thank y'all for joining. If you have questions, hey Angel, if you have questions, put them in the comments. I'm gonna be watching the chat and stuff like that so we can answer. But we want to go ahead and get this thing on and popping because this conversation is very, very important and it's very, very necessary. So day one, we started talking about denying your greatness and why people deny their greatness and stuff like that. And we talked about, stop denying and reclaim your greatness. So that's what we did last night. So tonight we want to get on the things that hold us back, the barriers to greatness. Why are we letting these things hold us up? So we're going to talk about some barriers to greatness. And the first thing that I want to talk about, the reason people don't really get to their greatness, because they don't have a vision. And that's the first thing. Without a vision, you will and shall perish. So you should make sure that you have a vision. So I'm going to start. I'm going to let the lady start. It's going to be a conversation. They can talk about it or whatever. But the vision, last night we talked about the God-provided system, the roadmap to where you're going. You need a map. You need something to tell you where to go, how to go, and stuff like that. And if you don't have it and you don't know where you're going, anybody can come speak into your life, tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, and you don't know what you're doing. But when you have a vision and it's written down, see, because if it's not written, it's not real. But when that vision is written down and somebody comes and they come up against your vision and you looking at that paper, you'll be like, that ain't a part of my vision. So let's talk about what it looks like when you don't have a vision and why that vision is so important. So I'm going to let whoever wants to start, let's go ahead, and I want to hear from each and every one of you.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead on and start.
Okay.
That's bravery for me right there. But I think one of the reasons why one barrier that I know of right off the top is the mindset. Because if you don't have the right mindset to achieve your greatness, you're never going to make it. You have to have that mindset. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you have what it takes to accomplish what you need to. And I'm reminded of a scripture that says that I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. So if I know that I have that confidence, if I know that I have that mindset to achieve what I need to achieve, then I'm going to do it. But I believe that mindset is one of the most important things. If you don't have your mind right, you can't achieve greatness at all.
At all. And so your mind has to be right, but even those people that have right minds, that's very important. You could have a right mind, but if you don't have a vision, you still gonna get off. So you gotta have a mindset, because if that's not right, yeah, you can't be right. But in order to really move forward and really live out your purpose and walk in your destiny, your mindset got to be right, but you still need to make sure that you have that vision. So those two things are both needed. Mm-hmm. Like you said, the mindset and then the vision, both of those together. That's a winning combination. Who wants to talk next?
Can I speak on that one?
You sure can.
Child. No, because that's like, I love the scripture where it says, take the vision, write it down, and make it plain, so that he that reads it may run after it, and also patiently wait. And so I feel like the reason why people don't have a vision is for two reasons. Number one, you don't even really understand what it means to have a vision. People like have an idea, or they have an objective, and then they have goals. That's not the same as having a vision. Having an objective and a goal is to say, oh, I'm going to launch the table of greatness, and I'm going to aspire to have X amount of guests. That ain't vision. That's a goal. But when you say, you know what, I've been put on this earth with purpose, and everything I do and everything I touch, I want to make sure that women aren't just inspired, but they're moved to do something. And how can I do this? So you have to actually get into that place where you were kind of like when you were a kid and you knew that big old house was yours, and you saw the rooms and you saw yourself dressing up, and you knew you were going to be rich and have that money. something happened to us as adults where we don't give ourselves that permission anymore. And so you don't really have a vision. Having a vision means that you have to say, I'm going to open myself up and say, I'm going to believe in what most people think are impossibilities, that I am going to actually look at this thing that I'm supposed to do and see the essence of me as something greater than I am right now. That means you have to have faith. That means that you have to be beyond like, oh, well, what skills do I have now? I don't have certifications, or I don't have this degree, or I don't have this following. Don't none of that stuff matter. The only thing that matters is I see myself in my future. So that's one. If you can't visualize and you don't understand what vision is, you can't have it. Number two, people that kind of get to the point where they got a vision, they usually fall flat on that they don't understand that you saw yourself in your future. So whatever it is that they do, if they don't manifest it right away, they as fast as they got one vision, they dump it and they pivot and they had the audacity to say, oh, well, maybe that wasn't for me, or God is trying to show me something else. And then they divert their attention and they go to something else. See, vision is long-term strategy. We only got one life to live, and whether that's 5 years, 50 years, 10 years, like Nipsey Hussle, he wasn't here long, but he had a vision. So everything that he did was him walking closer and further to getting to that destination of being that great man, of making that impact. And so when you can see yourself as a person of impact, when you can see yourself as a person of influence, when you can see yourself in your future, then everything you do, you voraciously run towards that thing, but then you also enjoy all the little moments so that you can have the patience that God needs you to have while you work on getting there. That's what stops people from having vision.
Absolutely. That was awesome. That was awesome. And that's the thing. People want to run. They want to just sprint. And that's not like that. We know that Nipsey Hussle said it's a marathon. It is not a sprint. It's a marathon. And so when that vision comes, you're excited, you ignited, you motivated, you talking about it. Everybody, they hear you and stuff like that. They looking at you like, and you're still excited, thinking it's going to happen. But please understand, between the vision and the glory, there is a story. And where that story come in, that's where you got to be able to have that staying power, that willpower, because baby, through that process, through that marathon, it is not going to look like what you first saw. And that's where people get mixed up, twisted, discombobulated, and turned around. And like August said, the moment something happened, I quit. I ain't doing that no more. I shouldn't have tried it anyways. And you have every kind of reason to try to make yourself good about quitting on yourself and your vision. And we can't quit on our vision. That's just the bottom line. So always remember, there is going to be a story before you get to that glory. So you can determine how that story ends. And don't let it be the story of failure. Let it be the story of victory. Let it be the story of the win. Let it be the story of greatness. You can't get to greatness unless you have gone through something. These are the times that winners, that leaders, that great people are made through the process. It don't just happen like this. And I know we live in a microwave society and everybody want to be like overnight, and everybody y'all see, y'all think that just happened. That didn't just happen. They did some work. Y'all might not know the story that came before the glory, but I promise you, there is a story. Greatness does not fall in your lap. And let me, before I let LaToya and April, I want to say this. I have seen so many people, and I remember this young man, his mom passed away. She left him the house, the car. He had 2 cars. In fact, he had it going on. He had, money. But guess what? Within a year, he didn't have jack. You know why? Because he had a lack of vision. He didn't have a plan. He didn't prepare. So his story didn't turn out too good. And see, when you don't have a vision for yourself, that's exactly what happens. And so that's why it's so necessary to have a vision if you're trying to move towards greatness. Who wants to go, April or LaToya?
I'll go next.
Okay.
So just piggybacking off of what everyone else said, having that vision, having those goals. And sometimes you also have to put yourself, surround yourself with people that are like-minded, right? Because life is hard, but we have to learn how to do, we have to learn how to do hard things, right? And sometimes we need others to help help move us along. And like you said, it's a sprint. It's a marathon. It's not a marathon. It's a sprint, right? So I'm sorry, I said that backwards, but you all know, you all get what I'm saying. So, you know, when you think about it, and I'll use myself as an example. I'm a planner, so I'll plan things out year, 2, 5, whatever. But you know, life gets hard. So sometimes if I don't tell anybody about my goals or about my vision or what I plan to do, if I hadn't told anybody and I haven't accomplished that, then, you know, no harm, no foul, right? But I need like-minded people that have, you know, the same goals as I do, so that I can say, hey, look, you know, these are my goals for the next, you know, month, for the next, you know, 6 months, 9 months, year, 5 years, whatever. And this is what I plan to do. This is how I plan to do it. And I need you to hold me accountable, right? Because if I don't put it out there in the universe and tell anyone that I'm going to do it, you know, who's hurt besides me if it doesn't happen? Who's not, you know, accomplishing those goals, or who's not I'm not keeping myself accountable, but I have others to help keep me accountable. So it's not, for me, it's not just about having the goals, having the plans, having the vision, but sharing that with others that's going to help keep me accountable.
Absolutely. And that's a part of executing. And I definitely, as I told y'all earlier, we're going to get into that and talking about, you know, the people that we're around and people holding us accountable, and also talk about people that hold us back. April, I'm going to go ahead and go. You can.
Okay, awesome. So when we're talking about vision, we have to know like the purpose of it and why we're driving to push vision. A lot of people get vision and inspiration mixed up, but inspiration is totally different from vision. Inspiration could only be an idea that has not been carried out. It's like a person can see themselves doing it, but they don't carry it out. When you have a vision, that's something that won't let you sleep at night. It's like your mind is constantly turning like, okay, but not to the point to where you can't sleep, but it's you're asking yourself, okay, what can I do tomorrow? What can I do the next day so that this vision can come to pass? See, when you have a vision, it brings out your determination, it brings out your drive. And most people, again, get that mixed inspiration. Everybody gets inspired, but when inspiration doesn't show up, you got to show up to vision. You got to show up with the determination to carry out the vision that God has given you. And the purpose of your vision, to know that, yes, it's your vision, but there are also people that is attached to your vision, and somebody needs your vision so they can continue to cultivate their own vision. And so when we understand the purpose of our own vision and the impact that our vision needs to make in someone else's life, then we know that we can't stop, because if we stop and become stagnant, then we stagnate the other person that potentially attached to our vision to get their vision, them moving, inspiring others, get them, you know, pushing their vision to open other people. And so, yes, inspiration and vision are two different things. Inspiration does not show up every day, but your vision and your determination and your drive, it has to show up.
Ooh, baby, you said a whole entire word. That right there was the truth. And I know somebody felt that. I know somebody heard that, because vision, like you said, and inspiration is totally different. And then as you speak about that, many times people get confused with their vision. They think it's their vision, but a lot of times y'all trying to do what other people want you to do instead of what you're supposed to be doing, what you feel is necessary for you. Nobody should be able to tell you what your vision is. That's something you have to see it for yourself. You have to see it before you see it. And you can't sit up and let this person, you know, a lot of people, you know, you might have come from a family of educators. So, you know, everybody should be an educator, but that's not really what you want. You come from a family of attorneys. And so, you know, you need to be this attorney, but you know, you have this other vision. So we can't get caught up in other people's vision. And that's many times of why you get messed up and mixed up, because you're inspired by what they're doing, but that's not really your purpose and that's not your vision. So like she said, the inspiration goes away because it was never your vision in the first place. And so we got to make sure that we are stepping into our own vision, our own purpose, if we're really going to be fulfilled and get to the greatness that we are actually looking for. So with that being said, I want to talk about how people stop us, and we don't realize it. And sometimes it's our own family. It's the people that's closest to us. This hurts, and we may be stepping on toes, but sometimes toes need to be stepped on. So today, I guess I'm gonna have to be the toe stepper and we're gonna be the toe steppers because we got to make this thing clear. We got to make this thing plain. Because if you really are going to get to your greatness and your destiny, you're going to have to face and embrace the things that are holding you back. And one of the main things that keep you from greatness, that's people. People pleasing, toxic people, negative people, needy people, whiny people, all kinds of people, slick people, manipulative people that you missing stuff, and you keep hanging on and holding on because that's your mama, that's your sister, that's your best friend. Y'all been friends before you even knew yourself. Y'all been friends since y'all been 4 and 5, but they ain't doing nothing, and they trying to tell you what to do and how to do it. And you have a vision and a goal, but you make them more important than the vision. See, sometimes you got to step out in order to move forward, and then you can maybe, if they get it together, pick it back up. But I want to hear what y'all got to say about that. Anybody can take the floor.
Look, I be trying to be nice. I don't be, because me and you, Rynette, you be saying stuff. I just want to say something right away. And I'm like,
say it, baby.
Hey, let me tell you something. This is something that most people will not do. But I'm going to tell you that at the end of the day, when you know that you know that you know that you know what you put on this earth for, then the only thing that matters is the people that see where you're going, believe in where you're going, and can help you get there. Whether that's in forms of support, love, prayer, / whatever it is. And so, you started off with vision, Rynette. And so a lot of people get thwarted and they can't keep going because they don't have the vision. They just have the steps. It's not even necessarily a goal. They're like, I'm supposed to do something of the sort. See, me, on the other hand, I was able to go ahead and accept the beauty in what God showed me. And I saw myself as this woman, this speaker, impacting the world, getting out there, doing these things. And so I knew that I thought different, I talked different, and I walked differently than everybody else in my family. And so the only thing you're supposed to do is be 1000% authentic. See, people can't stop you when you're real. They can't stop you when they're you. So you can't most of these people, they get thwarted by individuals because they fake too. So you can't recognize fake because you are being fake yourself. Could you imagine me not speaking out, saying the things that I want to say, but then having the audacity to tell somebody else how they should speak to me? It's impossible. So standing up in your greatness, standing up for your truth, you have to do that for yourself first. And so a lot of individuals got a lot of fears that if I stand up and if I talk this way and if I say something, if I do something, who is it going to rub the wrong way? But it's so funny to me, people can rub you the wrong way all the time. And I watch women and men constantly enable people, do things for people, and never say, you know what, I'm not going to do this for you anymore. So for me, my thing is if you find yourself constantly saying, well, I was going to do this, but such and such said this, or that person thought that, not only do you not have vision, you're also not true to who you are. I don't care what it is. If it's blue hair, I don't care. If it's that you cuss or you don't, if it's that you are a total Jesus fanatic, whatever it is about you, you just need to be that. And then allow yourself to be loved on with some genuine love, not a form of so-called love just because of titles. My thing is when people do stuff to me, I don't sit there and say, oh, but that's my auntie. I'd be like, okay, so she's a sister on the street and she did this. Would it be okay? Nah. So it ain't okay, even though she's my aunt. And so a lot of people don't want to do that. That's why they can't stand up to their sisters, their mothers and stuff like that. So for me, I am so myself. I had to get comfortable in my own skin. And I say what I want to say and I do what I want to do wherever it is that I'm at. And you either going to love me or hate me. And the minute that you let me feel like I'm not welcome, I got plenty of places of my own that I can go and I'm outie. Deuces.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you are really ready to walk in your greatness, it's the bold, it's the courageous people that are able to be great. Everybody that's sitting comfortable and this voiceless and not saying anything, you're not going to be able to get the greatness. You might need to move in silence, but that doesn't mean you have to be silent. When people are stepping on your toes and talking about your dream and trying to kill it, you got to open your mouth. You have to talk. You have to say stuff. And so if you can't stand up, you have to stand up for your vision. If nothing else, stand up for your vision, because it's some place that you're supposed to go. And as it was said earlier, you are stagnating somebody else by sitting on the sideline, not doing and speaking up. That's really sad, because you are here for a purpose, and it's time to get in alignment. And while we're talking, I put in the comments, and it's already been placed, thank you, Angel, in the comments, the table of greatness is this place where you can sit, really get in that space and place to really stand up, to really walk in your greatness, to get to your goals, to plan out, to get that vision clear. Because a lot of times we're not clear, we're not confident, and that causes us not to be consistent and show up like we should. So this is the place where you can come and get a plan to build your own table and walk in the greatness that you were purposed for. Latoya, you want to go?
Yeah, let me add to that. Just going back, man, being authentic to myself. I had to learn that, right? Because I feel like, we're conditioned to be a certain way, when we're young and when we grow up and things like that. So I had to, take a step back as I got older and say, you know what? A family member or friend or a coworker, I was a people pleaser, right? So, feeling a certain way about what others thought about me or what I was doing, so starting a different journey or doing something new, and, are they going to approve of that? And at the end of the day, the people that I was seeking approval from wasn't doing anything, right? So I had to get comfortable with being 100% authentic, like August said, to myself. And at the end of the day, I had to learn how to remove the title from the person. So like you talked about, Rynette, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, it's your mom, it's your dad, it's your cousin, it's your sister, whomever, you have to remove the titles, because at the end of the day, they're still a person. So when you think about people pleasing and why am I doing this? Am I doing this because this is what I truly want to do? Or am I doing this because this is what others expect me to do? So I had to get comfortable in my own skin and stop worrying about what everybody else thought when they weren't doing or going where I was trying to go or do what I was trying to do. And so I had to stop looking for validation in others and start looking in validation from myself.
Yes.
That was good. That was good. Thank you for that transparency. That was so necessary, because a lot of people are scared to be transparent. And on here, we want to really be transparent. We want to speak up, and we want to help others to really get to their space of greatness, their place of greatness. And this, as August and I were on earlier, and we talked about this being a labor of love. I mean, we are stepping in a place to serve and to bring more people to their greatness. And a lot of times, you need somebody to help you to step up. And I know it was people that caused me to not really step out, that caused me to think that I couldn't do it. We're not born with negative feelings. We're not born with low self-esteem. We're not born with the, thinking we're ugly, we're this, we're that. We are taught all of that. And so that's why we have to understand who we are and have that vision for ourselves and understand our purpose. And so we need to watch the people that we are around. So those people I talked about, the toxic, the negative, the this, the that, it's all of those people. But then there's so many other great people that can pour into your life. And those are the people that you need to find yourself around. And because I lived in such a toxic, negative, it looked good. It looked like things were happy and great. And I was surviving. I was surviving. I was existing. But who wants to exist when you can really live and thrive. And so this is what we're talking about. And so we have to learn to get around those things and people that are going to help us thrive, not just survive. Those people that are going to help us live and not let us just exist. And it's going to pull our coattail and call us out so that we can move forward. Carol?
Yes, wow, and everything is so good what's being said. But when I think about my life, my journey, I was one of those people that was always, staying in the background, looking for people to give me direction, because I don't know if it's because maybe I was the only child or whatever, but I was always used to people doing things for me or speaking up for me. And because of that, I think that really put a hamper on my existence. But I know that when I began to surround myself with people who had a different mindset, and I'm going back to that again, who had a different mindset, who thought or saw something within me and helped to pull that out of me, it took me to another level. It took me to another place. I began to look within myself and see that, listen, I'm here for a reason and a purpose. God has a purpose for me being here. And so whatever it is that he has placed within me, I just had to have somebody around me just to tap on my shoulder and say, hey, look. And then when I began to, like I said, when I began to surround myself with people that could influence me, that can help me to get to the next level, then that's when I began to step out more and then realize. But the main thing is that you have to, and just like Latoya said, you have to have somebody around you that's going to be like your cheerleader to push you on. And then, once you're gone, so
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so many people love to sit and say, oh, I'm just waiting on God. I'm praying
yeah.
about it. Prayer is an action word. You got to take action. You have to move. You have to get around the people. And you have to do your part for God to do his part. He can send you those divine connections. But if you haven't sat down and really thought about your purpose, made it your purpose, made it your vision, made it about what you and God have purpose for you to do, instead of being around these people that are killing your vision. You can't think. You got all the noise around you, all the talking around you. You got to get away from all of that, because it's not going to move you to go into your purpose and to really stepping into your vision and your greatness. So it's so necessary to get around those people that are going to do that for you. And I know that a lot of times we all have stories that we can tell that have kept us from our greatness. And I know for the longest time, like I said, I mean, I went to church and, I believed in God. I heard what the pastor was saying. I have my hands up, oh, thank you, Jesus. And I'll be doing all that, but didn't even really believe it. I didn't believe it. As soon as I get home and I might talk about it or say something or whatever, I'm going to hear something negative about why that don't work and why that's for other people. So I never thought it was for me. So that's why it's important to get around those people that are going to uplift you. And one of the things that a lot of times as you start on your journey to greatness, you'll feel like you've outgrown that circle. You'll feel like you've outgrown
That's it.
your people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could be your spouse, that could be your best friend, and that's a scary place to feel like you have outgrown the people that you truly love and the people that you're around. That's crazy, but it's what happens when you moving towards that. And sometimes you got to do this thing and step out on your own and get you some new connection, and you got to bring them. You may have to bring them later. So, April.
Yes, ma'am. I know we keep hearing this word a lot, but I have to go back to being authentic. And the reason why I say that, because once we are true to ourselves, then we know how to handle things that come at us, no matter which way they are coming. And what I mean by that is, at times, okay, you have people around you. Yes, they saying this or yes, they saying that. But now it's like, okay, yes, they saying it, but what you gonna do about it? And a lot of times it's not about what the person down the street is saying. It's the person that are close to us. It could be the friend that see that you're pushing, that they've seen the tears that you have cried about the business. They've seen, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, and may not have the resources to fund the vision at that time. So when they start talking sideways, that's when it hurt us. So we have to admit it. Yes. You know what? Let me back. That's what I wanted to say. A lot of times people will say out of emotion that, oh, I don't care what they say. That don't hurt me, but you know good and well that you hurt by what they said. So yes, immediately hurt by what they said, but now, okay, now I got to take negativity. Now I got to turn it into a positive. So for those who are deep in the word of God, that you got to go back and say, okay, I'm just living out my Joseph experience. Yes, they said it. Yes, they did it. I have to cope with it from a positive perspective. So instead of acknowledging that, oh, they said this and oops, they said that it hurts me. Yeah, it hurts. But now I have to as this is part of my journey. This is part of my vision. This is part of what needs to happen to get me to my blessed and my destiny. Because, let's think about it. I'm not trying to, go to church or anything, but it's just on me to say is that even with Jesus, there were some things that he had to endure before going to the cross. And it looked from the natural eye that it was not profitable. It didn't look like, him getting beaten and all these things to go to the cross. It looked like, oh my God, Jesus getting beaten. Oh my God. But that played a part in his purpose. So when we understand that when people talk against us, even if it be family, your friend, I don't care who it is, when people talk against us, thank you, because that shows that I'm doing something right. One of the things my mama taught me was this. She said, baby, if nobody ain't talking about you, then you not doing nothing. So the fact that somebody is talking about you is part of your destiny, is part of your journey to get you to where you need to be. And to know that along the way, you're going to have obstacles, and that's just the obstacle. That's just something that is trying to stop you from going forward. But once you realize that, yeah, I'm glad you made that comment because that means I'm doing something right. I'm glad you made that comment. I'm glad you don't believe in me because it shows me that I'm on the right destination. I'm heading towards my journey. I'm stepping into my purpose. And so instead of saying that we're not by it, admit that we're hurt by it. But now we have to turn that negative thing into a positive.
April set me off. Can I say something?
Go ahead. Yes.
Now I just got to add this one little snippet. Now, if you take it to church, April, then let's go ahead and take it to church. Like seriously, because where was Jesus at when he was 12 years old? Yeah, for the people, my Bible people, where was Jesus at? His mama and his daddy and them, they was going on about their business. You know how you think your kids with you, but they somewhere else. You're like, where they at? He stayed in the synagogue and he was in there teaching very masterfully. And when the people said, your mom and your daddy looking for you, he like, who my mom and my daddy? When they was like, what are you doing? We thought you was with us. He was like, don't you know I'm about my heavenly father's business? So all my church people, I be calling y'all out. Y'all be saying, what would Jesus do? But even Jesus had to check his own mom and daddy as a little boy. He already realized who he was, where he was going, and what he was doing. And he made sure that it was understood. And so from there on, his mother was right there when he was turning the water into wine and all of those other things. But he had to make sure he nipped it in the bud. And here you are. Come on, queen. Come on, king. As a grown woman, still having a hard time telling your mama that I'm about my daddy's business.
Amen, amen, amen. And that this is so good because so many people, like April said, and you just said, we can't allow ourselves to keep ignoring and denying that we hurt, because that hurt can keep you from that greatness. And then because those are the people that love you, you could get stuck in their words. Like she said, just admit your hurt. It does hurt. It don't feel good. But understand that everything about greatness, and like I said, a part of that story, it's going to hurt. And so we got to accept that hurt. We got to move on. And a lot of people that you're friends with, you're good as long as y'all right here together. But when you start doing this right here, then that becomes a true problem. You can't get to the next space and place, and then they looking and like, oh, she thinks she better than me, and then they start trying to put this stuff in your head. So you got to understand who you are. You got to be crystal clear on that vision, so that no matter what comes up against it, you're still going to be able to move ahead. And that's just the problem with people when they have this vision and people start to fall off who they thought were going to be there, then they fall off. Don't fall off because of that. I know when I was in the school system and I started telling people about my vision, you leaving? Oh, you gonna leave me? Well, yeah, I gotta do what I got to do. And people don't always take kindly to that. But what your vision is what your vision is, and you can't allow anybody to stop it. So as I was moving forward and stepping out or whatever, the next thing that comes in there that we all deal with, that we get paralyzed by, that we get stuck, is fear. And so how do y'all move past? What do you do to move past the fear, the naysayers, all the things that's holding you up from your vision? How do you move forward and keep going, even though that fear is just gripping you and making you feel like you need to quit? Can you tell me your strategy on how to move forward, Latoya?
Do it scared.
Do it scared. Amen.
Because at the end of the day, there's always going to be fear about something. And I can relate to what you said about, leaving the school system. I had the same situation when I left corporate America. People were like, you leaving to go where and do what? Making me feel bad about my vision and what I knew that I was set out to do. And I'm like, I start questioning myself when I know that I had already made a plan and already had, things set in place for this to happen. I didn't just, leave, at the whim. I made a plan for that. And then when I was so excited and start sharing that with people that, I cared about and I thought would be happy for me, and they clearly weren't, or at least they didn't appear to be, made me question myself. Well, am I doing the right thing? And then all this doubt, started to come up. So at the end of the day, I still did it, but I had to do it scared, regardless of, what others were saying. I was like, okay, I'm not going to let that, change my mindset. Like Miss Carol was talking about, of course we think about it, we dwell on it, but I still had to do it scared.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Do it scared. That's good. Carol?
Okay, that's so good. Wow, doing it scared. But I'm also reminded too, just to kind of piggyback a little bit of what you said, Rynette, that as I began to like grow and try to excel in what I thought was my purpose, then someone that I knew was saying, oh, people see what you're doing and they saying who she thinks she is or whatever, and I was kind of hurt by that, because it's like, why are they trying to judge me when I'm trying to better myself and when I'm trying to move forward? And I had to actually get myself together, and I had to realize that, and look within myself for the purpose that God has for me. And so I couldn't even, after I got over that hurt, I had to realize that, hey, I can't even let what they say stop me, because people are going to talk anyway, just like how they talked about Jesus. So, whatever. But and also in moving forward and thinking about this fear, the fear, it can paralyze you if you don't act on it. So what makes you go past the fear is the confidence that when you know that you have a purpose and a destiny, you will get over that fear and move forward. You will do it scared, just like Toya said, because at the end of the day that God is going to be with you and he's going to help you to get to where you need to be and where you were purposed to be.
Absolutely. And one thing, as y'all were talking about fear, let me tell you what stops fear: action, momentum. When you start taking action, when you start moving forward, that fear start to fall off. Like Latoya said, do it scared. We already know that. Do it scared, do it afraid, because when you moving and you in action and stuff like that, and God see you doing your part, he's definitely going to do his part. He's not going to be missing. He's never going to leave you nor forsake you. He is not going to be absent. And guess what? He's going to send you those divine connections. But you got to move forward to get to those connections. You got to take action to see some things happen. So that's really, really huge for you to do that. August?
Yes, ma'am. Let me tell you something. Fear thrives in one place, and that is in the place of uncertainty. And so if you got, once again, when people listen to videos like this, you can find yourself being caught up in each moment. And that's okay, but don't let this be your church high, okay? Where you feel good on Sunday and by Monday or Tuesday you snapping at the woman in the cubicle, or at least you want to because you forgot the scripture that the pastor gave you. This is one of those things where you go back. Even in this, there's so much life in everything that everybody said. You rewind and you put it all together. See, vision was what Rynette led with. Do you have it? So when you know that you know that you know that you know what it is that you're supposed to be doing, and you're certain that that's what you're supposed to do, then you have to say to yourself, okay, am I really afraid or am I uncomfortable? Now, in the beginning, when you have taken no steps at all, I will say that you more than likely are dealing with false evidence appearing real. You are dealing with some level of fear, but you have to condition your mind. See, everybody's got a different word. When I talk to people that work with me, I tell them that they're warriors. You got to be battle tested if you want to be an entrepreneur. You got to be battle tested if you're going to get out here and do what you're supposed to do. Even if you're a Christian, you got to be battle tested. What you putting on an armor for? Why do you think that analogy is even there? So you got to battle test your mind. And in the beginning, you are afraid because you don't know what's going to happen. But as you continue to go on the journey, each level, you may not know what's going to happen, but you can remember those things that are a time to say, okay, but I was able to be successful in that thing, so I'll be successful in the next thing. Because really what ends up happening is really no longer about fear. It's about whether or not you do or don't want to embrace discomfort. And you know that you have truly become a warrior and a champion when you will make yourself uncomfortable, which this is tying back into what our sister was saying about inspiration versus being a visionary. If you constantly got to have somebody making you feel good, pumping you up, getting you amped up, that's cool. You get your table of greatness ticket so that you can keep on getting that motivation. But eventually, vision has to rule you, because inspiration is external. It is external and vision is internal. And so until something ignites inside of you that says that I have to do this because this is how God made me and this is what I'm for, then you can't keep on going. If you're uncertain about who you are, then you have no justification of getting uncomfortable, because it's no different than when you're working out. And if you want a chiseled body, you put your body under pressure. You put it under the surrendering to your mind of whatever it is that you expect or desire. So for me now, it's really not fear that gets me. It's the uncertainty sometimes. And then you have to keep on realizing that these can't be cliches that you say anymore, where you're like, oh, well, everything changes on the other side of fear. You know, that things only change outside of your comfort zone. Well, you know what? Start turning up the heat on yourself. People, you like to say the song in church, sometimes you have to encourage yourself, but sometimes you have to challenge yourself. Stop waiting for life to throw you a whammy and forcing you to have to do something with you and ignite your power and start setting your own soul on fire. Start creating stuff so that when fear tries to creep in, that it's no longer that for you. You know, and that way, when it's some kind of crazy thought, you can realize, oh, that's not even me. Where did that come from? And then you can go into your toolbox and then you can go ahead and reignite that fire. So you can't just get out here and say, I want to change the world. You can't just get out here and start doing stuff. You have to condition your mind in order to be able to thrive. And when you start walking in your greatness and you start impacting people, I'm going to tell you something. Your love for moving people forward should be enough to make you eradicate fear. Because I have had some moments where some crazy stuff that came to me, but I got a whole tribe to think about. And if I fall off the face of this earth, and if I stop moving and doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now, I cannot live with what's going to happen and how for a moment people are going to be crushed because August did not any longer man her position. So you are fearful in the beginning, but if you condition your mind, you are only learning how to deal with discomfort, the discomforts that come with transition. If you still in a fearful state after all of this time, you ain't locked in on your vision, and you are allowing it to thrive in a place of uncertainty, and you got to change that.
Jesus, you done took us to church and back, baby. Praise the Lord. As she said,
Yes.
fear, false evidence appearing real. But I'm going to tell you another part of fear. Fear is friends, enemies, and relatives, because we talking about people right now, and that's what holds us back many times. We have those friends that don't want to see us move ahead, so they upset, they mad, and they feeling some kind of way. So then they try to make you get in your feelings, okay? And then the E is for enemies. You already know those enemies don't care for you, they don't like you, they don't want to see you get ahead. There's no confusion about that. The A is for and then the R is for relatives, because it's those relatives that keep us in fear, that keep us staying back, and they don't want us to take the risk. They don't want us to stand out. They want us to stay in that safe place. And so we can't move forward. We can't get ahead because they're telling us to be safe. And nothing happens when you safe and you safe. Safe ain't gonna get you nowhere if you don't step out and move forward. And then you have those relatives that's just like those enemies. They don't want to see you get ahead. They hate, and yes, relatives do hate because you are the prize child, or you're this or that or whatever. And then because, maybe your mama couldn't do what she wanted to do, but now you doing it, and it's a real sad situation. But that's really what fear is: friends, enemies, and relatives. I heard that some years ago, and guess what? That is the God's honest truth. So we have to move past all that fear and step out and do what we've got to do. So, oh my God, you heard, challenge yourself, set your own soul on fire. You got to do what you got to do to get to your purpose. You can't sit up on the bold and the courageous. If you think about everybody that's great, everybody that's done something, they not mousy, they not quiet, they not sitting back to letting fear take them hostage. They taking hold, and they stepping forward. And unless you do that too, and you make some decision, you sitting pondering, thinking, and you thinking nah, think long, you think wrong. That's what I heard. Then sometimes you hear haste make waste. But the bottom line is this: it could be haste make waste, think long, think wrong. But when you have a vision, that's what you're thinking about. You are connected to that vision. So it don't matter all the other cliches, like August said. It's that vision that you focused on. And when you focused on that, you get the movement, and you don't care about that fear. You do it scared.
Yeah.
April?
Yes, ma'am. One of the things that I can say when it comes to fear, we first have to recognize that we know that fear is not from God. And because fear is not from God, we know it has to be derived from a negative place. It has to be derived from the enemy. And see, when August said something that sparked what I'm about to say, because even from biblical times, when it came to Abraham, God will give him instructions to go to one destination. When he got to that destination, he got his next set of instruction. And so sometimes it's not knowing, but saying, oh, I don't know what's going to happen next. It's like, okay, have to reflect on, the word of God. That's there for a reason, to lead us and guide us in all ways. So yes, the fear is there. No, that is not from God. And because it's not from God, it's there to do two things. It's there to stop, and it's also there to give indication that what I'm moving towards, that is truly mine. I am going to fulfill it, but I have to put something in her way or something in his way to try to stop them from fulfilling their destiny, stop them from releasing their greatness. And so we just have to truly remind ourselves that, you know what, God, you did it for Abraham. There. Abraham, God, he got to one destination. You gave him instruction at another destination before he went to the next. So I think we ought to actually find excitement in that, to the point to know that we don't know what's going to happen next, but we do know we're going to get there. And so when it comes to fear, yes, we're going to feel it. Of course, we're going to feel it. But after you feel it, and another thing, don't get lost in the feeling. Don't stay there too long. But initially, the fear, but then you get back up and you put fear into the thing that tried to fear you. And you begin to, speak positive. As people would say, do affirmations and all those things, whatever you have to do to speak positive, to keep you encouraged and to keep you moving forward in your destiny, then that's what we have to do. You get up, you continue to move, you wait for your next set of instructions till you get to the next place, and to know that eventually it's your destination and that you're going to be able to release the greatness that's within you. So that's what I would say. Yes, fear, yeah, but after you feel it, do something about it. Keep putting action to the vision. Faith without works is dead. So as long as we continue to put that action in, keep it moving, then faith can't even do nothing with you. Initially, it's going to come to stop you, but once you have determined in your mind that nothing can't stop you, you won't feel it no more. Because you already have a made up mind that I got somewhere to be, I got somewhere to go. Somebody's waiting on me.
Amen. Amen. And that's what you have to have, a made up mind. And so we have about 5 or 6 minutes left. And one of the things that, that I'm real big on, my whole brand, my whole everything about me that I talk about is next level. And so in the process of being great, I need people to understand it's nothing about average, ordinary, status quo, or mediocre that is going to get you to greatness. And too many people want to sit in, and I talked about this last night, and I would talk about it every night, because next level is a lifestyle. It is something that is necessary for you to move to your greatness. And so as I'm speaking about next level, I want to hear from everybody. Just give us a real quick synopsis of why average and ordinary, why that's just a plague, and it is not going to get you to greatness. Everybody's coming on this platform. It's nothing about them average. It's nothing about them average. It's something different. It's something great. It's something that stands out. It's something that makes people look and be like, and that's how you have to be if you're trying to get greatness. So I want to go ahead. I'm going to start with April, and then I'm going to go to Latoya, Carol, and August.
Could you repeat the question again? I'm sorry.
I want to know why average will not do, and why you can't get the greatness with average, mediocre, ordinary, why you have to do something different, why you can't fit in if you're trying to be great.
I would say average requires you to lower your standards. Average requires you to not only speak, but to live beneath your means. It doesn't speak to who you are as a person, especially when you want to be great. So anytime you try to take the easy way out to be average or mediocre, you will never reach your level of potential or come to the place to where you need to be. And so that's what I would say. That to me is just basically playing it safe. I can be average, I can be mediocre, and that is not a part of our destiny. So, and the reason why I'm kind of struggling with that even right now, because I'm like, man, who wants to be average? Like, who wakes up in the morning and say, I'm going to have an average day. I'm going to be mediocre today. I'm going to be a sluggish day. I'm just going to be lazy today. I hope no one wakes up like that. And so when you wake up in the morning, your morning.
They do wake up when you hear people. It's okay. It's that's what it is. Latoya, go ahead.
Yes. So piggybacking off of what April said about being average or mediocre, and when I think about when folks settle, or when we settle for being average or mediocre, settling, they say everything that settles is at the bottom, right? And greatness is the quality of being great or distinguished. So we want to be distinguished. We don't want to settle for being average or mediocre. We want to go to the next level, which is being, distinguished. So that's why it's not okay just to settle for being average or mediocre, in my opinion.
Absolutely. August, Carol, I'm going to let August go real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say this, especially because the majority of you all that follow us are entrepreneurs. You have to stand up. You have to rise up above the noise. And unfortunately, mediocrity is the new world's level of excellence. And so when you really think about that, the fact that people are okay with just doing enough just to get by, then you have to realize that we need to go back We're too busy trying to go ahead. We're trying to have more technology. We're trying to have more advancements, but we're steadily losing ourselves. Remember, even though it might have been a little bit traumatic, where you were told you had to make A's and B's, not we're just going to give you a grade for saying that you participated or tried. Remember when little kids had to remember the speeches when they stood in front of the church, even though they was barely 2 years old, saying the speech that's about yay long, versus now it's like, just get up there and read the piece of paper, boy, and go ahead and say it. You know, this is what the Easter programs and stuff look like, because we keep on dumbing down the expectation. I'm going to tell you something. If you want to succeed, you got to make, I remember I heard Les Brown. No, who was that? Was that Dennis Kimbrough? He was quoting somebody. It was in one of his books. He said that, I think it was Al Sharpton that said, you need to set yourself on fire and make everybody look. So you need to blaze a path and you need to burn so that you can get people's attention. Average and mediocrity basically means that you blend in and that you are not seen. I refuse, you hear me? I refuse to not be seen. And how dare some of you have the audacity to say you're here to empower women, you're here to change the world, you're here to make a difference, and then you move in a manner that says that, but I'm gonna be quiet. And I'm gonna be humble. No, you're supposed to be proud and acknowledging the gifts that God has given you, and you stand up in that excellence. You are supposed to be a bar raiser. Okay, you raise the bar. You want to make sure that you're still profitable and you making money in 2021, but we don't know what's coming to us, and we know that fear thrives in uncertainty. Let me tell you what you do, baby. You make sure that you raise the bar on everything while everybody else is sitting and waiting and debating. You raise the bar so that, because people always look up to a stage. You know what I'm saying? If you got the good seats, you look up to the stage. When you're the latecomer, you know what I'm saying? You got to sit all the way back in the nosebleeds. You want people front stage center looking up at you. So there, you cannot do mediocrity, because mediocrity is saying that you surrender to the world's new level of excellence, and that's not going to go. That's not going to work. I love y'all. I have an 8 o'clock appointment, so I'm going to dip off of here. But Rynette, I love you all. Get your ticket to the table of greatness. You did not come here to be entertained tonight. You came here to get a taste, to see what you're going to get on the other side of that ticket. Come on now, because we're going to talk stuff.
Just a nibble. Yeah, I got 8 o'clock. I got my thing at 8 o'clock too. I got another appointment. But Carol.
Okay, so being average does not even require you to do a whole lot. Average means that you just totally just existing in this world, not making any effort to do anything. So if you're not making an effort to do anything, if you're just existing, then how can you even achieve greatness? You need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to understand that in order for you to excel, in order for you to achieve, you can't be average. God did not make average people. First of all, we are a royal priesthood. We belong to the family of God, and we're going to walk around here like we average when he gave his life that we can have the right to the tree of life? No. Average is not where we're supposed to be. And every day that we wake up is an opportunity for us to keep on excelling, keep on achieving, keep on hoping, keep on moving forward. And that's how we will reach our greatness. Understand where we are and what we're here for.
Absolutely. So as we close out, we need to know that average, mediocre, ordinary, it will not do. We are a piece. God is the master, and we are a piece of him. So that means we are a masterpiece. And it's nothing about a masterpiece that's average, ordinary, mediocre, or status quo. So knowing that you're a piece of the master, that means that you are supposed to be royalty. You're supposed to be next level, and that should not be an option for you. So as you know that you need to do better, you need to do more, go ahead, get your ticket. You know it's more for you. It's no need to ponder. It's no need to waste time. Take action, move forward, get your ticket, and do what you need to do so that you can go sit at that table. I mean, however you got to do it, some things, we got to put to the side, and we have to invest in ourselves. So invest in your greatness, invest in your vision. It's for you. It's for you. So I thank you all, ladies, for joining me. I got to run as well. Got to get to my other ladies. And I thank y'all for joining me in the audience. Please share this out because people do need to move forward. We do need to raise the bar. We do need to set our souls on fire. We do need to level up. We do need to do everything we can to be excellent, to be on top, to get to our greatness. This is our time. This is our turn. This is our now. So let's move forward to the greatness. And I thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to Webster's Flying Studio. Dylan, that's my man. He is always on point, doing what he needs to do to get me out there. He's streaming this for me. Thank you, Dylan, for always being there. I appreciate you. You are just the best. And I thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody, for joining. Get your ticket, get your ticket, get your ticket for your greatness. All right, we're going to sign off every day and every day. Make sure you keep it next level. Deuces.
Deuces.